Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Pisces, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of January 2024. I hope you are well. Welcome to the new year, Happy New Year and all that sort of thing. I'm using the Tower of the Abyss for you today. Before we begin, if the reading resonates and you'd like to go a little bit deeper, there will be an extended that you can access at the end. That is the first link in the description box. There's a second link in the description box. So I'm recording these during Mercury retrograde, so you'll have to excuse me. The second link is to my private community, the Order of the Phoenix. That's over on the Circle platform. You can get access to all of the extended content for no extra cost over there and hang out with an extraordinary group of people. I've got cool things going on over there. So if that sounds like it will be of interest to you, you know what to do with that link. The third link is to the 3-month overviews for each of the signs, running from beginning of January to the end of March. I don't need to say any more than that about those. You know what they are. It's the third link. Go knock yourselves out. So let's have a look, Pisces, and see what is going on with you this month. Can I have 3 cards for Pisces, please? Here's the first one. We have the King of Swords in your recent past. There it is. There we go. What about current energy, please, for Pisces? Oh, goodness. We've got the Ace of Pentacles and this 8 of Cups in reverse, which is interesting. And then what's coming towards Pisces, please? For January, we have the Lovers card. This is nice. There's an interesting kind of... There's a very comfortable kind of balance that I'm getting off these cards almost immediately, actually. We have the Hermit card at the bottom there. So if I just go through the signs, we have Virgo, we have Aquarius, and we have Gemini over here. But I don't think those are relevant in so much as I don't think you need to ascribe those to particular people that might be in your life. Get this clarifying deck out here. Find somewhere to lodge my coffee. There you go. Stay. Yes, it's feeling very balanced indeed, and I'll get into why in a second, but I just want to get the clarifiers out on the table first. Sorry, I've got a peculiar tension in my chest that's just suddenly appeared that wasn't there a second ago, which makes me think it's probably related to you rather than me. And it's easing again. Right, okay, tell me about the King of Swords, please. Right, we have 2 cards there. We have the King of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. Tell me about this 8 of Cups reversed and Ace of Pentacles, please. Ooh, gosh. 6 of Wands in reverse. King of Wands. A lot of King energy here. 1 more, please. That's 2. Behave. Okay. Interesting. I just check that. Oh, this deck isn't out, so it's not all of the cards are the right way up. All right. Tell me about the Lovers card, please. I'll pop that there so you can see it properly. Why is the Lovers card here for Pisces? 6 of Swords. Oof. 10 of Swords. Justice. There is a nice balance to this. But I'll tell you straight off the bat, I think whatever it is that you're trying to do, and I'm just going to leave it as vague as that for the moment, whatever it is that you've been trying to do, it's not going to be entirely straightforwards. I'll get into what that's about in a second, because you know, we've got the odd bit of major arcana here, but there's this kind of toing and froing backwards and forwards over a particular situation. Now, depending on when you watch these videos, and they certainly will be released before the start of January, it could well be that what we're dealing with here is retrograde energy. Excuse me. Because as I am recording this, as I said, Mercury is currently in retrograde in Capricorn. It's going to be retreating back into Sagittarius. And I think it stations direct in Sagittarius, and then we've got a week or so, something like that, until it moves back forwards into Capricorn. There's definitely a sense of going back over ground that you have already covered. And there being a sort of revisionist quality to whatever it is that you're working with this month, right? So let's start over here and we'll work through it because I'm jumping all over the place at the moment and I don't like to do that. So we start over here with the King of Swords. Like I said, that is Aquarius energy, or Aquarian energy, and most often it is associated with the act of making a decision. Sometimes it's the decision itself. It's the thought processes that go into arriving at a decision. And because it's active and it's masculine, just as the King of Pentacles is and the King of Wands are here, there's a desire to move forwards with something. There's always that desire when the kings are around. They're not really happy in standing still too much, right? It's movement forwards. And with this King of Pentacles here, we've got a sense that there's something that you've decided recently that has a longer term quality to it, because the King of Pentacles is Taurus, right? Slow moving energy, almost certainly involving a degree of delayed gratification, which is not, it doesn't feel punishing. It's just like, I've made this big decision about what I'm going to do. I mean, with it being Taurus energy and that King of Pentacles there, it could be something related to your resources. It could be related to where you live, what you live in, those kind of things, where you're putting your money, what you do for a job. It's certainly a big decision has been made and a direction has been chosen. And the energy seems to have been, at this point, being focused on the act of now getting this plan off the ground. Whether it is, like I said, maybe you've decided you need to move house, maybe you've decided that your job sucks and you want to do something else instead. I mean, for some of you, certainly when we see the King of Pentacles and the King of Wands both showing up together, we have the possibility of perhaps starting your own business, doing something whereby you are your own boss, even working as a self-employed contractor, something like that, right? Those two cards go together quite nicely for that, as the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands do. And the Page of Wands is then preparing the ground. The Page of Wands isn't about movement, interestingly, although it's a Wands card. It's about preparation for movement. It's taking what you already have, which is the beginnings of drive, ambition and passion for something, and going, right, what do I need so that I can move forwards in the most efficient way possible? And certainly these two kings would be thinking about how to move forwards efficiently too. I just have a mouthful of coffee. And so far so good, as it seems to me. The decision has been made and now the actions are being taken, or at least prepared for. You can say this is maybe your resume needs a bit of an overhaul, or maybe if you were looking to sell your house, you're like, maybe I should go deal with where cupboard handles have fallen off, or there's a little bit of wallpaper peeling or something like that. It's kind of going around and taking stock of what it is that you are going to do or going to need to do to make sure that you are able to move forwards in the way that you want to. Now, when I say recent past, I mean generally this covers anything from this morning, the point that you're watching this video, when you got out of bed, to about maybe 6 weeks back. But then we move into your current energy, and this is where you are right now. And this is why I actually said for some of you, you may feel like it might well be the retrograde energies that are working on you here right now. Because with this Eight of Cups in reverse, there is a need to return to something. A return to contemplating something, a return to engaging with something. If the Eight of Cups is being able to put everything to the side so that we can go off and pursue our ninth cup, there's something here that said, actually, you can't move forwards as quickly as you would like. You maybe actually can't move forwards at all. You need to come back to this, whatever this is, and pay heed for it. Pay heed to it. Now, it's not because you're supposed to stay there, and although that we have these reversals and they're quite frustrating, the dominant energy sitting there with the Eight of Cups is the Ace of Pentacles. Now, Whether it's a case of a stitch in time saves nine, you're actually going to get much further ahead if you kind of come back to some things that you might have missed, or whether it is that there is an opportunity in what you have been trying to move away from that actually might change your direction of travel. I'm not entirely sure. You're going to have to take it as it resonates to you and how your situation feels. But there's definitely no sense of moving forwards with anything. It's very much coming back to. And because it's the Eight of Cups, it might well be how you feel about a situation rather than practical considerations that have to be made. I mean, it could well be a combination of the two, actually, because, Ace of Pentacles. But the Ace is a seed. It's starting something. And we've got the King of Pentacles back here, who's got that longer term view. And we know the things that he covers too. And it's saying, maybe you've been trying to start too far ahead of yourself, and maybe you need to come back just a little bit. Now, we've got two Leo cards here. Jupiter in Leo with the Six of Wands and the King of Wands. And the Six of Wands, which is a card that is most often associated with conspicuous victory, feeling like a job well done and all that sort of stuff, is in the reverse. It doesn't mean that you have failed. It means that you might likely feel incredibly frustrated and maybe is even blocked in trying to move forwards with what is important to you. Notice that the King of Wands is overseeing this. There's I can't help but feel ever so slightly irritated by these reversals on your behalf. It's like, damn it, there's just things just keep cropping up and things keep being in the way. But the fact that the King of Wands is watching it all makes me feel like there's movement to be made. It's just not in the direction that you want it to go. He's showing up in the upright, so it's not like there's a total stasis here. It's like, no, instead of going off and doing that thing, you're going to have to come back and do this first. It's like a tying up loose ends kind of energy. Unless there is the possibility that there is an opportunity that you might have skipped past without realising it in trying to run forwards to whatever it is that you're looking to do. Tell me about this, pop that there. Tell me about this Six of Wands, King of Wands. Eight of Wands. Yeah, there's like a desperate desire to move forwards, to pick up speed. I mean, to gain some momentum, to feel like you're doing something. And all of the energies are being like, no, Pisces, stop, can't go forwards yet. You can go in a direction for sure, but you need to go back that way. There are things that need to be tidied up. There are things that need to be put in place before you can start moving forwards. And we see the Six of Pentacles here. And although it's in the reverse, I did say that there was quite a balanced feeling about this. It's the balanced feeling that comes from being able to see the situation from over the top rather than being in it, because I would feel, I would think actually that it is less likely that you feel that everything's balanced and it's just sort of tickling along nicely. These two cards here both speak to a kind of balance. But this minor arcana here is the kind of balance that you are trying to bring to a situation versus the kind of balance that is a bit more overarching that the universe is trying to bring to the situation. It could be that you need to crack open a situation that you thought was dealt with, almost certainly, and reorder it in some sort of way. Because the Six of Pentacles in reverse is a situation that is out of balance. And I feel like the activity is you actually unbalancing it so that you can tidy it up properly. This Temperance card is an exhortation for patience. As much as you would like to rush forwards, much as you're very, very excited about whatever it is that you have planned for yourself, this situation cannot be left the way that it is. There's some sort of conclusion that needs to be brought in here, and it's going to be slower than you want it to, at least at this point. And this is important because when we move into January, we have the Lovers card, we have the Six of Swords, and we have the Justice card. Now, I'm going to notice that we've got these major arcana like sitting on the end of these two energies here. And I haven't even got into the Hermit and the Seven of Swords yet, but we'll get into that in a second. The Lover's card is about balance, it's about harmony, it's about union, it's about all of those lovely things. The Justice card is also about balance, and in fact, you know, it's kind of notable that you have almost all of the cards that we associate with balance, that being Six of Pentacles, Temperance, the Lovers, Justice. The only one that you're really missing here is the Chariot card, and that's fine because we're not moving forwards at a pace yet, right? Got to go backwards a little bit, sort some stuff out here, come back forwards again. The Lovers also talks about free will, right? The proper exercise of free will. And for whatever reason, there's something, I feel like what it is that you've tried to leap over to get to your new start and where everything's new and exciting. There's a feeling of something that you may not be being entirely honest with yourself about, you know. And the question then would be, is it that whatever this last little nugget is that you have to work through, is this you kind of running away from that, or not bringing your whole self with you for whatever reason? I mean, you're talking about things in terms of running away from makes it sound cowardly, and I don't intend for that to be what you take from this at all. Tell me about this. Yeah, you see, we've got the Wheel of Fortune here in the middle. Now, that speaks to fortunes improving. It does speak about being able to move away from a situation of some sort. But at first, it's really important to learn something. That's always an interpretation that is present for me when the Wheel of Fortune appears. There's something that you haven't seen. There's something that you haven't dealt with. And until such time as you have, you can't spin the wheel and move off away from this in the way that you would like to, because something about your situation here is critical to your future success, whether that's in a material sense in terms of what it is that you're trying to create for yourself, or whether it's more generally some aspect of you, Pisces, that gets integrated into you in the process. I think it's noteworthy that we also have the Six of Swords sitting at the bottom of this deck here. And there's a different quality to the Six of Swords, right, as a movement, than there is to anything that involves the King of Wands, the Page of Wands, even the King of Pentacles to that degree there. Because this is full of enthusiasm and drive. This over here is like, well, fuck, I'm moving away from this situation. I'm getting away from what has been difficult. And that, like I said, that can absolutely be a part of your psyche. The Hermit card at the bottom of the deck is an indication that what we've got going on here is something that requires internal work from you. It's not just that you have to go back, maybe it's even using the example that I used at the beginning, right? Maybe you're wanting to move house and you're becoming, filled with excitement and drive and enthusiasm to go purchase another property, but before you do that, you have to sell the house. So, sell the house that you're living in. So, taking an objective look around the place and going, what can I do to improve this? What can I do to make this look better? And then having to go back and do that. But if you can take that sort of situation and apply it to your psyche rather than a physical building, I think you might be in the right kind of ballpark for what's happening here. Because there's no doubt in my mind that the universe is trying to align with you, union and harmony, have you working together in tandem with them to ensure your future successes. And that Seven of Swords there is, it's trying to make sure that you are not putting yourself in a situation where you may trip yourself up later on down the road, right? There's a really straightforward thing here for you to work with, and you're going to have to go in or backwards to see it, and then you can start moving forwards. But we notice that the Ten of Swords is right there. And what I'm wondering is if any of you, or some of you, might have been trying not to end something, or not to feel like something has ended. Rather try to kind of swim around and away from it. Because the Ten of Swords always speaks to a difficult ending of sorts. Now, the difficult ending doesn't have to be somebody humiliating you or betraying you or anything like that. I find that because the Ten of Swords is a card that represents, the most swords that you can have in any given situation, it does, for me, sometimes indicate a situation where I realise just how difficult I have made things for myself by the way that I've been thinking about it. Sometimes even a revelation that you have about the way that you are. And it's funny, I was doing the Aquarius 3-month overview last night, when I live streamed it on Circle while I was doing it, and had a chat with them afterwards, and it was the most bizarre thing. I was listening to a video before I started this, and it was all about narcissists versus people with PTSD, and I was shocked by the events that have been going on for me in the last few months, how they have been bringing to my attention that a lot of the things that I thought I was well over in the CPTSD category are actually still very much present and still very much dictating the decisions that I make. Now, that for me felt like a little bit of a slap in the face. It was like, holy shit, I put so much work into this, and yet it's still a thing. But that feeling was replaced almost immediately with, well, fuck, at least I know what the swords are now. This was my Ten of Swords. Fucking hell, right. There's more to work with. There's more to do here. It doesn't speak to necessarily a feeling of everything going wrong outside of you. It's kind of like, what are the realizations that you need to have? What are the things that you need to see about yourself that will allow you to actually legitimately move away from this situation without taking anything with you? Because whichever depiction you look at with the Six of Swords, these characters are travelling light, and they're travelling light away from the implied presence of the Five of Swords, which is shonky thought patterns as much as anything else. It is self-sabotage. I mean, sometimes it's rows and arguments and disagreements that we have with other people. I mean, honestly, the Five of Swords is my card of the narcissist anyway, right? So you look at that person who's standing at the front of the card with all of the swords, and the other people who are putting their swords down. That has always felt to me like it was related to that. I'm not saying that you're all dealing with narcissists, but I'm just saying if there was a card, it's that one for me. And so the essence of the Six of Swords here is, what are we trying to take with us that actually we don't need to carry? What can we put down so that we can safely move our whole selves away from any given situation, even if that situation is within our own minds, and start moving forwards? Because this Justice card here is a big fucking energy, and particularly when it's shown in combination with the Wheel of Fortune as it is here. Even the Lovers card, I mean, that is conscious co-creation, but it adds a whole karmic dynamic to what you're experiencing here. One thing that Pisces does very, very well, I think, is accept and find a way to flow. There's something about January which is showing you where you have not been flowing quite as well as you thought you had, and how, if that is left unaddressed, you're going to run into problems further down the line. Whether this is an emotional, mental, or practical and material consideration, something needs to go back to be checked and looked over and processed and brought to an end. With that Ten of Swords there. Only then will you be able to move on at the rate that you're hoping to, Pisces. So think about it as just a blip in the road, and I really would, meditate on the energy of temperance here to help you not only balance yourself and all the things that we talk about with the Temperance card, but to be able to practice patience in this regard. I think Pisces are pretty patient anyway. Sometimes. Most of the time. But this is one of those situations that you can't rush. So, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to go over to do the extended, so you can join me on Circle, you can join me on Vimeo, it's entirely up to you. But if neither of those things are your bag, the TLDR of this, and the thing that I would like you to take away, is that it's not that you can't do the things, it's think about it in terms of tidying up first before you move off, and that should help stave off any feelings of failure or insane frustration long enough for you to be able to see the bigger picture of what's going on here and work with that energy rather than against it, Okay, I shall leave it there. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I'll see you soon.